So starting off today's show, I'll explain what I'm doing. If you missed it on Monday's episode, I started off with my guy Chad going over the bubble, and then we went region by region going over what we thought the bracket committee got right and wrong in each one. And basically today, I'm going to be doing the same thing, but besides of just previewing and breaking down the bracket, I'm going to be giving you guys my game-by-game pick for each region. So let's start off with the top left of the West region, the battle of 16 seeds between Norfolk State and Appalachian State. The Appalachian State Mountaineers will be making their first NCAA Tournament appearance since 2000. Coming out of the Sun Belt, they'll be taking on Norfolk State, a team that this is only going to be their second time making the tournament, but at the same time, if you remember, they did make some history the first time they went as they beat Missouri as a number 15 seed, and that Missouri team was a squad that many people actually expected to make the Final Four that year. I'm going to take Appalachian State, I really like the job that their second-year head coach, Dustin Kearns, has done. I think the Sun Belt is a little bit more high level of a league than the MEAC. I'll take App State over Norfolk State. And then in the other play-in game, the battle of 11 seeds, I do like Drake to beat Wichita State. I think Drake is a very mentally tough team. I think the fact that they get Tank Hemphill back obviously will really help. Tank has been out the last couple weeks, and that just killed Drake when you consider the fact that Roman Penn, their starting point guard, he was out for the season as well. He's not going to play in this tournament. So a battle between two old foes playing in the Missouri Valley. I like Drake to beat Wichita. I got a good look at the Shockers at the American Athletic Conference Tournament, and I'll make myself clear. I think Isaac Brown has done a phenomenal job since he's gotten that job, and he obviously deserves to be the full-time head coach of the Shockers. But at the same time, I think this is where Wichita and their magical run, I think this is where it catches up to them. The fact that it was just a little too much. Give me Drake, very mentally tough team, to beat Wichita. The 116, no surprise here. I'll take Gonzaga to beat Appalachian State. This upset would probably be bigger than UMBC over Virginia. That's all I'd have to say. Dustin Kearns has done a great job, but yeah, we like Gonzaga there. In the 8-9 game, I think this is an interesting matchup, even though I'm not a huge fan of either team. I think the reason what makes it so interesting is because there were separate moments earlier in the season where both of these teams were in the top 10. Oklahoma had that nice stretch where they beat Alabama. They also had a win over Texas Tech as well. Oklahoma has had Oklahoma has had some really nice wins, and so has Missouri. They beat Tennessee on the road. They beat Illinois earlier on in the non-conference portion of the season, but at the same time, Missouri is just a very hot and cold team, and so is Oklahoma, for a matter of fact. But I'm actually going to take the Missouri Tigers to win this game. I think they're the tougher team, and even though Oklahoma does have a little bit more scoring, I'll trust the ruggedness of Konzo Martin. The Tigers have not won a tournament game since he's gotten there, and I understand Lon Kruger is a super experienced coach when it comes to the NCAA tournament, but I'm going to take Missouri to beat Oklahoma. I think it's going to be a good game, very close game. The 5-12 between Creighton and St Bonaventure, or not St Bonaventure, Santa Barbara, I should say. This is another interesting game because I understand why everyone is going to be taking UC Santa Barbara in this game. I think Joe Pasternak is one of the better young coaches in all of college basketball, and no one is going to deny there is some high major talent on this team. Between Miles Norris, the former transfer from Oregon, Ja'Cory McLaughlin, the big guard from Oregon State, Josh Pierre-Louis, guard from Temple who transferred. You also look at Ajari Sani. He is a really good and impactful player for this UCSB team. But I'm actually going to take Creighton to get this job done. And I feel like this could be an upset that I'm picking Creighton because I know everyone is going to be on Santa Barbara. And look, I think Creighton is just too experienced to lose in the first round. I know they got smoked by Georgetown in the Big East tournament, but at the same time, I trust this Creighton team to rebound. I trust them to bounce back. I don't expect a team full of veterans to play that poor 2 games in a row. I'll take Creighton to beat Santa Barbara. Let's get the upsets going, though. Give me Ohio to beat Virginia. I think Jason Preston is good enough to carry a team by himself to win a game in the NCAA tournament. As I spoke about with Chad on yesterday's show, the kid to watch for Ohio in this game is Ben Vanderplas. I absolutely love his game. He's a phenomenal player, and I think he could be a guy that does big-time damage in this tournament. I like Ohio to beat Virginia and move on to take on Creighton. I like USC to beat Drake. I just think the size and athleticism of Evan Mobley, Isaiah Mobley, and the rest of those big bodies on USC, I think that's just a little bit too much for Drake and their mentally tough team to catch up with. I like USC to beat Drake. I like Kansas to beat Eastern Washington. I think this game will be close. Eastern Washington really impressed me watching them in the Big Sky tournament. I think they could be competitive in this game. They make a lot of threes, but I trust Bill Self to at least win one game in this tournament. I like Oregon over VCU, but this is one of the games I'm most excited for in the tournament. I watched VCU in the Atlantic 10 tournament, and they looked really good before that championship game, beating a very solid Dayton team and playing really well against Rhode Island as well. I think that VCU is a team that when you look at Bones Highlands, he is another guy that could win a tournament game by himself, but so is Chris Duarte, and I think Oregon has more depth. I think Oregon has the coaching advantage, so I will take the Ducks to beat VCU. I'm going to take Iowa to beat Grand Canyon, but I think this is another game that's going to be closer than most people expect. We all know that Bryce Drew does have experience coaching in the NCAA tournament, and Fran McCaffrey doesn't really have winning experience in the tournament. This is a guy that has never gotten past the second round. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but I think Grand Canyon could be very competitive in this game. Their big guy, Midgard, a transfer from Wichita State. He is very well suited, I think, to at least compete with Luka Garza, hopefully limit him, and if Grand Canyon wants to win, they'll make enough shots. I like Iowa, but I think it's going to be a close game. I really do. I like Gonzaga to beat Missouri. I don't think the Tigers have enough scoring offense to compete with Gonzaga. If they want any shot at all, they're going to have to slow them down, but obviously either easier said than done. I like Gonzaga to beat Missouri. I'm going to take Creighton to go to the Sweet 16 and beat Ohio. I think Creighton didn't get a terrible draw, assuming they could get past Santa Barbara. I think the winner of that Creighton-Santa Barbara game is going to the Sweet 16, and I trust Creighton's experience. I know this is a team that has gone through some issues over the last couple weeks, but I trust Creighton and McDermott. I like USC to pull the upset over Kansas. I know David McCormick is going to be healthy, but I think USC's athleticism takes advantage. I'm a big fan of Taj Edey as well, and I know it's crazy that I'm picking Andy Enfield, out of all people, to outcoach Bill Self in an NCAA tournament game, but that's what I'm doing. I'm taking USC to go to the Sweet 16 and beat Kansas, and I'll keep the upsets rolling. I like Oregon to beat Iowa. I trust Dana Altman to win more in the NCAA tournament than I do Fran McCaffrey, and I know the one problem that could catch up to Oregon in this game is that they don't have a big man that could match up with Luka Garza, but I think Chris Duarte could go punch for punch. I think Oregon's athleticism could at least contain him, and Iowa's not a non-athletic team. Like, their guards, Wieskamp and Frederick, they're more athletic than people give them credit for. But I think Oregon, their starting five is a little bit more balanced. It's a little deeper. I like the Ducks to beat Iowa. And then I will take Gonzaga to end Creighton's run, go to the Elite Eight. Look, if Creighton is getting run off the floor to Georgetown by 30, I can't see them beating Gonzaga. And I said with Aaron, or I'm going to talk to my guy Aaron coming up, and I said it on Monday's show. I think Gonzaga got a good draw. They'll take advantage of it and go to the Elite Eight. And then here's where things start getting interesting. Oregon and USC, winner goes to the Elite Eight to take on Gonzaga. I'm going to take Oregon to go all the way to the Elite Eight. And once again, it's coaching. I trust Dana Altman to win games in the NCAA tournament. It's that simple. He's shown me many times that he has the ability to do that, and I don't think Oregon got a terrible draw. They could at least compete with Iowa. I think they're the better defensive team. They played USC in the regular season. They split. That's going to be an all-out war. I would love to see Chris Duarte and Evan Mobley just go punch for punch right at each other. Once again, I think it will be curious for me to see what exactly Oregon does to guard an Evan Mobley or to guard a Luka Garza. But I think Dana Altman could do it. I trust him, and I know it sucks and Folly Dante got hurt. But I like Oregon going all the way to the Elite Eight, and unfortunately, that is where their run comes to an end. I like Gonzaga to come out of this West region, and I know they're the favorite, and I know there are going to be a lot of upsets in this tournament. Plenty of things are going to happen, but I like Gonzaga. I think they are by far and away the best team in this region. They got a really good draw. They beat Iowa, they beat Kansas, they beat Virginia during the regular season. I think Creighton, a possible matchup with them could be interesting. Possible matchup with Oregon could be interesting, but not interesting enough. Give me the Bulldogs and Mark Few to go to his second Final Four.